Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sir Peter Fahy, Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police. On my right is Councillor Paul Murphy, Chairman of the Greater Manchester Police Authority, and on my left is Ian Hanson, Chair of the Police Federation of Greater Manchester. Clearly we are devastated today by the loss of two of our officers. I'm now in a position to name those two officers. The first was Fiona Bone. Fiona was 32 years old with 5 years service. And the second officer to die was Nicola Hughes, who's 26 years old with 3 years service. Clearly this is one of the darkest days in the history of Greater Manchester Police, if not the police service overall. Because we have lost two deeply loved and valued colleagues, because they are part of our team. Policing is very much a family, but also because of the huge efforts that officers had been making to arrest and detain Dale Cregan, and obviously the officers involved in that inquiry are shattered by this outcome. I now want to say a little bit about the circumstances we believe surrounding the deaths of these two fine officers. We believe that Dale Cregan was in a house in Abbey Gardens overnight, and at some point this morning has either himself made a call or have somebody else made a call reporting a burglary. This particular address was not known to us, was not in our intelligence systems, had not featured in this particular huge inquiry we've been undertaking. And so, as would be routine, two unarmed officers were sent to the scene. When they arrived, it appears then that Cregan emerged into the road and killed these two officers. A firearm was used and a grenade was also used. Clearly we are unsure of the exact cause of death until post-mortem examinations have been carried out. Cregan then went to a local police station and handed himself in. I think, as you are aware, locating Cregan since the murder of David Short on the 10th of August has been the top priority for Greater Manchester Police. This has been a huge investigation for us. We have had great support from other forces, from other law enforcement agencies, and we've had some of our best people on this particular investigation. We have carried out over 50 firearms warrants in an attempt to locate him. We have made a number of arrests of other people. I think you are aware that we've used all forms of publicity, posters, rewards through Crime Stoppers and whatever, to try and locate this man. We believe that he has been protected by a criminal conspiracy to harbour him, and we are absolutely determined to fully investigate that conspiracy and bring the people involved to book. This case tells us something about the nature of organised crime, the web of intimidation that it creates, and the fact that people then sometimes see others as folk heroes for being involved in this sort of activity. Since that event, we have had officers on armed patrol 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the Clayton and Droylsden area. But clearly we cannot send armed officers to the hundreds of incidents that we get, not only in these areas, but in the surrounding areas every single day. These were two officers going about their normal duty. Like all officers, they went to a variety of incidents not knowing what it was that they would face. Clearly the police service is not perfect. We know there have been a number of high-profile incidents. But below that, day in, day out, police officers go about their duty, go into dangerous situations, unexpected situations, show great bravery, great courage, and are with people at the very worst moments in their lives. And this is exactly what these two officers were doing. Clearly, we are a police force that is routinely unarmed, although we have great expertise from armed officers in our support. But we are passionate that the British style of policing is routinely unarmed policing. And sadly, we know from the experience in America and other countries that having armed officers certainly does not mean, sadly, that police officers do not end up getting shot dead. We are absolutely devastated by this loss, and our thoughts and our condolences go out to the families of these two officers, to their friends, and particularly their colleagues who work with them day in, day out. And of course, they are absolutely shocked and distressed at the events of this morning. Just want to say a few words about both officers in terms of things their friends have said about them. Fiona Bone, as I said, was 32 years old and had 5 years' service. When she first joined the shift, she was quite quiet and reserved. However, she came out of her shell and had a great sense of humour, always enjoying a good laugh. She was so happy with her partner, and they were in the middle of planning their wedding. Indeed, her partner only spoke to her this morning about the wedding invites, and fellow officers gave her advice about how to make them on the computer. Her fellow officers said that they loved being partnered up with her, as she was always calm, collected and professional, and could diffuse situations with her calm, gentle way. She was an excellent bobby and cared about her job and the communities she served. Nicola Hughes was 26 years old and had 3 years' service. Nicola enjoyed karate. She was very bubbly and loved life and socialising. She was a chatterbox and was always smiling, even after a night shift when everyone else was a bit grumpy. She was a good listener and couldn't do enough for people. She was a lovely friend and a great bobby. Greater Manchester Police is in mourning today for the loss of two very brave, courageous colleagues who exemplified the very best of British policing. We are determined to make sure that we carry out the fullest investigation into their deaths, and particularly bring to justice all those who may have been involved in planning these awful events and in harbouring those that have committed them. Thank you.
Yes, if I may, just very, very briefly, extend on behalf of Greater Manchester Police Authority and the people of Greater Manchester our heartfelt sympathies for the families, friends and colleagues, of course, of the fallen officers. They exemplify the dedication that officers show and the bravery that officers show every single day. These are two fine police officers that went to what was considered to be routine and lost their lives. We've been kept appraised as a police authority by the force of all of the events and, of course, the campaign to bring these people to justice. We have continued to support GMP and given assurance today that we will continue to give that support, both financial and in other ways that is required by GMP.
I think words almost fail me. I want to look beyond the uniform here. What we've got are two young girls who went out this morning and they've got an absolute right to come home tonight to their loved ones. This is cold-blooded murder. It's the slaughter of the innocents. GMP is a family. Out there at the moment, I'm struggling to find the words to use to the police officers out there who've lost friends and colleagues. And I echo everything the Chief Constable said. It's a dark day for GMP, it's a dark day for policing, and it's a dark day for society.